It's really getting exciting in the SPL title race. We have Albirex Niigata, we have Tampines Rovers, and we have Lion City Sailors, all within a shout of being the new champion in 2020. Welcome to the SPL Show as we look back at the previous round of matches, and we have two head coaches, former head coaches in the SPL, respected figures in the game in Akbar Nawas, former Tampines Rovers head coach, and Philippe, you've had your time with Geylang United and with Home United, who are now called Lion City Sailors. Thank you for joining us on set.
Sure.
Akbar, first of all, to you. Welcome back to Singapore.
Thank you.
And for those who are not aware of the history, you were at Chennai City. Why are you back in Singapore now?
Well, I guess from the COVID situation back in India then, that was somewhere in February and March. I wanted to come back. There was a lockdown, and thankfully I was able to come back in the middle of May, serve my 2-week quarantine, and like I said, at the moment for now, I prefer to stay in Singapore with my family and see what comes next.
Okay, good. And Philippe, you've been at the very start with us on this journey in the 2020 AIA Singapore Premier League. Have you enjoyed the matches since the restart?
Yes, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, And the thing is, it's a title race, Albirex, Tampines, Lion City Sailors. It's a 3-horse race. Although after last night's results, it becomes more like a 2-horse rather than a 3-horse race.
Yeah, you needed some results to swing the way for Lion City Sailors. Didn't really happen for them. In a way, you talk about title race, but still AFC Champions League spots up for grabs. AFC Cup spots up for grabs. Still nothing concrete with a week to go until the conclusion of the season. That must be good for local football.
So if you go into 2 to 3 weeks to go in the league, normally a lot of things are settled. But this year, because with this COVID and matches are coming thick and fast, anything can happen. And you're right, AFC Champions League direct entry, 2 AFC Cup spots, and it's also Balestier, Geylang, Hougang, they're all fighting for the spots.
Yeah, top 6 all have something to play for the remainder of the season. And for Akbar, you have the allegiance, of course, with Tampines Rovers being the former head coach. They've never qualified for the Champions League in their history. How big would it be for the club?
I think naturally be very big for them, because getting to the direct group stage of AFC Champions League is what every coach or every local club would yearn for. I think for Tampines, that would be the biggest thing that they would really want to accomplish. As you know, all along, we just have to fight for an AFC Champions League playoff.
Yeah.
And normally we don't do too well, or we don't progress to the next stage. But this, you got a direct entry. Wow. It is something that every coach or club will look forward to.
Yeah, really, really big things to play for the rest of the season. And really thankful for 42 for helping us furnish the set. So for all your furniture, home decor, and lifestyle needs, go to 42.sg. All right, let's get into the action. And the first stop is our Tampines hub as Geylang International took on the Lion City Sailors. Stipe Plazibat has been out with a hamstring injury, this time only fit for a spot on the bench, and it was must-win for Lion City Sailors, who lost last time out against Albirex Niigata, if they were to keep their hopes alive in the title race.
We're coming to you live from our Tampines hub, where Geylang International themselves, with a coveted place in AFC football to chase for next season, take on the title challengers of the Lion City Sailors, who need to bounce back from that 3-2 defeat at the hands of Albirex Niigata at the weekend. Kyrie gets it back, looking for Song. Might still drop for Arshad. Well saved, Hyrule. Danger's not gone yet, though. Comes out to Gabriel Quack, and it's blocked off Maguire. And behind for a corner. It's Naikudin. Strolls through the middle, still Naikudin. Gets it out to Song. Well saved, Hyrule. It was nice work by Naikudin. Song did brilliantly to create the space. Hyrule spread himself brilliantly. A combination of gritty defensive work and a good goalkeeper from Hyrule has kept the scores level, but very nearly shot at on half-time, opening the scoring in spectacular fashion. It just whistles wide. It's behind Song, but space to operate for Akari. They've worked this passage well, the Sailors. Can they get some product on the end of it? Lovely cross, and the header's just over. Marvellous work by Akari. It was put on a platter for Sharon Ishak. just couldn't keep the header down, and look at High when he was rooted to the spot. He breathed a huge sigh of relief. They've got some height, this Geylang team. Can they put it to good use against the Sailors here? Delivered deep. Barry Maguire tries to head it back across, and Iqbal can't get there before Hassan Sunny. And this is what the Sailors do so well, breaking quickly on counter-attacks from opposition set pieces. They've got the freedom in the middle of the park for Song. Splits it out to this right-hand side, where Adam Swandy stumbles, recovers. Swandy across the 6-yard box, and they make the breakthrough quite brilliantly on the quick counter. Song Eul-yong with yet another goal to finally get the breakthrough. His 6th of the season. Meanwhile, can the Sailors get a second to put this game finally to bed? Gabriel Quack is onside, squares it. Great save from Hafiz Noor. Hyrule kept the first one out. He won't be keeping this one out. And it's game, set, match. Gabriel Quack, who's had a quiet night by his high standards, has got his 4th goal of the season. Wonderful save first up from Hyrule from Hafiz Noor. But the Geylang defenders didn't help their keeper out by reacting quickly enough. And that's a cool finish and a cute finish from Gabriel Quack, who started the moves. Looks like they're going to have a go with this last bit of a counter. Oh, look at that footwork. Fancy footwork from Gabriel Quack. They're playing through the middle. What on earth is Yamazaki doing up there? Oh, my word! I've literally seen it all now. Kyushu Yamazaki. I had to do a double take. It was marvellous skills from Gabriel Quack. And Yamazaki, when he played the ball out from the back and just kept on running, got it back from Quack. And that's a world-class finish from the Sailor centre-back. Geylang 0, Sailors 3. And that's got to be the best goal that Kaishu Yamazaki scored this season, even including training. Our referee, who's had a good game, shout out to referee Shikawi. Blows for full time, with Kaishu Yamazaki producing the game's best goal deep into injury time, and he got the 3rd goal. That's given us a final scoreline here of Geylang International 0, the Lion City Sailors 3. Despite a quiet first 45 minutes, don't write off the Sailors' title hopes just yet.
Yeah, job done by Aurelio Vidmar and his Lion City Sailors side, rebounding well after the 3-2 defeat to Albirex Niigata. And for you, Philippe, you've seen the evolving squad and the way they've played for Lion City Sailors, especially since the restart. They had that long break to work on the little things that perhaps Aurelio Vidmar saw was lacking in the side. Have you been impressed with them since the restart?
Yes, Aurelio plays a style of football that's modern, and the fullbacks really advance really high. The central midfielders actually go out into the side pockets to receive possession. And Sharan is a key man for them. And every time Sharan receives on the free space, he is dangerous. And you're right, they needed time to know how to play this style of play. It's not easy for a new coach to come in and input whatever he wants. You need time for the players to know, to understand what he really wants. And you could see certain games, they just totally dominate because they're that good now, Yeah.
How good was that first goal that they scored through Song Eul-yong? 14 seconds since Hassan Sunny released the ball, they went down the other end for the equalizer. That is something they have definitely had to work on the training ground, Akbar. Quick release and try to hit the opposition on the counter from a corner.
Yes, I believe Aurelio have done this work with them on numerous occasions on the training ground. But what was amazing was getting the players up there. The number of players getting up there for the counter that resulted in the goal. Because normally, as you see with the past seasons in Singapore football, when you counter, you only see 1 player or 2 players zooming past. But here you could see actually maybe 6, 7 of the Lion City players all getting up there, all having this desire to get up there and score a goal. So that was rightfully said, was from the training ground.
Yeah, incredible work rate. Fitness, very important to play that kind of football. And speaking about fitness, here is the big debate. You're giving me a smile, Philippe, you as well. So Stipe Plazibat has been suffering with a hamstring injury, wasn't risked in the game against Albirex Niigata. He was sorely missed in that one, especially with the physical presence up front. Was put on the bench for this match. Lion City Sailors were 1-0 up when he made his introduction on 71 minutes. He lasted only 6 or 7 minutes and was taken off. There was a big shake of the head as he was walking off, and the only reason why he would come off after such a short introduction is because the reoccurrence of the hamstring injury. My question, and for both of you as head coaches, A, would you have risked him on 71 minutes, already being 1-0 up? And how much would Aurelio Vidmar be regretting that decision? First of all, Philippe.
Well, I mean, when I was in Home United in Hougang, we took a lot of advice from the physios. We took the advice from the doctors. But yes, it's a big game. 3 games to go. Stipe is a key player for Lion City. But then, yeah, I mean, 1-0 up. I mean, the game was comfortable, isn't it? I wouldn't have risked it.
It would have been different, Akbar, if it was 0-0. Then you would have understood the decision, perhaps. Well, on the flip side, perhaps you would have wanted him to get some minutes on the pitch to just shake off a little bit of the rustiness. But where would you stand on that?
Well, like what Philippe rightly said about getting advice from the medical staff to make sure whether he's fit enough to play. And as for us being head coaches of previous teams, normally you will have this fitness test or medical fitness test done actually prior to the game, even before warm-up. And I believe he would have passed the test, and I believe the medical staff would have given the go-ahead to Aurelio. What goes down actually during that point of time, we can't comment on that. So I believe he took it in the best interest of what advice he was given and what he could do, and he put out Plazibat there, maybe, like you say, to shake off some rustiness and then to prepare him for the upcoming games. It's very easy for us to sit here and comment that what he did right or wrong, but at that point of time, only he knows what matters most, because as a head coach, you not only see what you have to do during the current game, you also have to know what you need to do for the next 3 games. And maybe you're right, he will want to shake off some rustiness.
Yeah, 14 goals for the season so far for Stipe Plazibat. So far and away the top scorer in the AIA Singapore Premier League. For hamstring injuries, especially if it does look like it's a reoccurrence of the injury that he suffered, first of all, is that season over, Philippe?
I would think so, yeah. Hamstrings injuries are sensitive issues. You may think that you're fine, but suddenly when you need to go for a sprint, and it just gives way. So it is a really, really sensitive injury, yeah. So he must take care of it. Yeah.
Well, they did get the victory in the end, Lion City Sailors, and we see the likes of Song on good form. Gabriel Quack seems to have a new lease of life. Adam Swandi in action. Shadan Sulaiman pulling the strings in midfield. Do they have enough to finish ahead of Tampines Rovers? We will look at the title run-in a little later on and the AFC Champions League qualification as well. But in terms of quality, do you see that perhaps they have enough to finish ahead of Tampines?
Well, for selfish reasons, because Saifullah plays there.
Yes, I have to include Saifullah Akbar, who was missing through suspension as well.
Well, for selfish reasons, I believe they have enough quality. But jokes aside, yeah, definitely, they have enough quality. And I'm happy you mentioned about Gabriel. I think he's one player who has really excelled. And I love watching him play right now at this current stage of what he is doing. He's an amazing player who lifts up the game, who can actually change the game. What he's playing now is one of the best I've seen all Gabriel, even when he was young.
Well, like I said, we'll touch a little bit more in depth about the title race a little later on. But a word on Geylang International, still in that final AFC Cup qualification spot. 4th place looks to be enough. Would they deserve it over Balestier and Hougang?
Well, I think all 3 deserve it in terms of what they can do for the last 3 games that they have. They have to go all out, because even getting into the AFC Cup direct spot is something a club should aspire to. Yes, Geylang might have kicked themselves in the foot for not doing something against the Sailors, or for not getting the result that they wanted. And now they just have to fight it out for the last 3 games, and they need to qualify for this AFC Cup, all 3 of them.
Big one coming up for Geylang and Balestier on Saturday at Bishan. Balestier take on Geylang, and if the Eagles get victory there, a huge step towards direct entry to AFC Cup. You've been impressed with Geylang International this season and Noor Ali and the brand of football they've been playing, Philippe?
So yeah, there were games where they look good. Geylang sometimes can surprise you, like what they did against Hougang. Yeah. So yeah, certain players, like the young players from Geylang, Lokman, Harif Kanadi, yeah, they've been impressive. I've been really, really happy to see how they've performed, even though they're so young. Yeah.
Yeah, so Lion City Sailors with the victory over Geylang International. The other title contender in action on Wednesday was, of course, Tampines Rovers in the battle of two out-of-form teams at the Hougang Stadium. Hougang United missing Charlie Mitchell, Zach Anderson, on a run of 2 straight defeats up against Tampines Rovers without Jordan Webb. So with these little changes that need to be made, it was an interesting encounter at the Hougang Stadium. Welcome everyone to the Hougang Stadium for this AIA Singapore Premier League encounter. We are into round 13 as Hougang United, the Cheetahs, take on Tampines Rovers, the Stags, and both these teams kind of out of form at the minute and will look to kind of rebound in this particular fixture. Bahaki Kaizan battling away with Afiq Noor. Bahaki gets the header and Kupitovic puts Tampines Rovers 1-0 up. After 22 minutes, they didn't really deal with the set piece there, Hougang United. But have a look here, Afiq Noor picking up Bahaki Kaizan. Well, question marks has to be made there by the coaching staff of Hougang United. How? Afiq Noor. They go forward again here, Tampines. Mehmedovic with some space to tee up a shot. Good fake, Mehmedovic. A big chance here for Danish to get a goal. What a start that would have been for his Tampines Rovers career. So close. His first start this season for Tampines. Everyone is still injured and they've got 2-on-1 here. Hougang United, Farhan on his right foot. Faraz Zulkifli goes for goal off Shah. Still alive. Shot comes in just wide of the post. Farhan set himself onto the right foot, went for goal. Came off Shah. Shah out on his left foot, then tried to curl it, but Shah's one. And here's Taufik, the other substitute, taking on Afiq Noor. And he will go toe-to-toe against Afiq Noor. Yasir's ball tries to clip it towards Taufik, who's looking very hungry at the moment. Yasir, cross to Taufik Suparno with a strike, and they make it 2-0. Inspired substitution by Gavin Lee. 40 seconds in the second half, and Tampines Rovers make it 2-0, courtesy of Taufik Suparno. I said he did look hungry, Taufik. Well, that's how hungry he is. He gets the goal. Too much space in the penalty area. Plenty of power through the legs of Ridwan Barudin. Shawal. Clearance comes. Petrovic will hold it up to Fazrul. And that's it. Job done by Tampines Rovers. Not the prettiest game of football you'll ever see, but the Stags get the job done here at Hougang Stadium. Goals by Boris Kopitovic and Taufik Suparno. Enough for Tampines Rovers to get their title charge back on track. Tampines Rovers do the business here at Hougang Stadium. It's Hougang United 0, Tampines Rovers 2. Yeah, as I said in commentary, not the most beautiful game of football. It wasn't really free-flowing. The pitch played a part in that, Akbar. But at this point of the season, it's all about getting the points, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. Because, like you said, if the pitch is not really playable to play the kind of game that Tampines wants to play, or even Hougang for that matter, it's the result that matters. Title run-ins and all that, the 3 points is really, really crucial for Tampines.
Yeah, and Gavin not afraid to throw in youngsters. Title race or no title race, Danish Siriga getting an opportunity in place of Jordan Webb. Youngster, first start of the season, almost gets the goal, but that's what Gavin Lee does. He places his faith in young players.
Yeah, that's great for Singapore football, you know, that these young players get an opportunity to play in the professional level and show what they can do. Gavin is not afraid to throw in youngsters, and that's good.
Yeah, Boris Kopitovic will get the headlines for scoring that first goal. A flick on by Haki Kaizan, who was marked by Afiq Noor. Now, at first glance, you would think maybe Baihaki escaped the attention of one player and maybe Afiq had to try and close him down. But it was a running theme throughout the whole match. During set pieces, Afiq Noor was picking up Baihaki and they paid the price for that.
Well, I think one can only guess, or one can only wonder why Afiq was picking up such a tall player. But like I said, we can only know what's going on through the coach's mind to set up the team for a corner kick in that manner. Normally, as head coaches, we try to pair up tall players against tall players, and you know the rest trying to match up in terms of size. But what we saw was not the case.
Yeah.
So I guess it's very much open to debate on why it happened.
Well, I dare say that perhaps Zach Anderson would have been really good to have been marking by Haki Kaizan in that situation. And it's a strange one at Hougang United. We have to bring this up. Zach Anderson and Charlie Mitchell, their contract ends at the end of November. They've been told they're no longer needed for the rest of the season. There has been no extension until the end of the official season on December 5th. Is that something you understand? Perhaps was it a club decision in not extending the contract, or were the players just maybe reluctant if there was an offer on the table, Philippe?
It is really, really difficult to say. It could work both ways, you know. It could be that the players did not want to extend the contract because it may affect their future contracts. Yeah, they may have some other offers from other countries. Of course, it could be the other way, that the club didn't want to continue with them. Yeah, but I'm surprised that they didn't play last night because they were eligible to play, and against Tampines. Yeah, so I remember in the first game where they played, Tampines had such a hard time to break down that defense led by Zach Anderson.
Yeah.
So
well, Hougang United did change up their backline. They have started with a back three in the past with Zach Anderson there. They've gone back to a back four. So perhaps the changes in formation has impacted Hougang United as well. And they're a little bit in a kind of limbo at the moment. Philippe, I'll stay with you on this one. Still in contention for AFC Cup qualification, but the body language of the players just seems of one that perhaps wants to just see the season out and start fresh for 2021. They still can qualify for the AFC Cup, but do you think the biggest problem for them is A, releasing Stipe Plazibat, and then B, not replacing him?
Yeah, so you know, when I first came on this show, I said I was surprised that Stipe port over to title rivals Lion City Sailors.
Yeah.
And that for me was really, really telling, because then it just shows that, are you giving up on the title because you just released your best player? And rightly so, he has gone to Lion City Sailors and continues scoring, and he's 14 goals. He's way ahead. He's going to be Golden Boot for sure. And then this issue with these two foreigners as well. But they have been blowing hot and cold after the break, and I think they may struggle to even go into the AFC Cup with the local players that they have left.
Yeah, 3 matches to go for Hougang United, as it is for every other team. And there was a delayed start at Jurong East Stadium as Albirex Niigata took on the Young Lions due to the lightning warning system. So Albirex Niigata were aware of what was happening for Lion City Sailors and for Tampines Rovers, and they knew they had the victories in the bag at halftime. So how did they cope with the pressure against the Young Lions? Ong Yuan started for the White Swans, and he came up with a big goal.
Good evening from the Jurong East Stadium for AIA Singapore Premier League action for a slightly delayed kickoff between table-topping Albirex Niigata and the Young Lions. Neat interplay from Albirex, falls now to Ong Yuan. Neat little touch back to Ong Yuan! First start, first goal, Ong Yuan in dreamland for Albirex. An even better build-up play. It was a loose touch there from Irfan Naji. They allowed them to get the chance. A nice 1-2 play, and then smashed it in. Give an early lead to Albirex Niigata. They can keep up this level of pace, this level of pressure. Albirex Niigata, they love to do this to teams. As neat little ball slipped through to Hashioka. Hashioka still going. Good save there from no Shafiq Zaidi, but great work from Hashioka down the right. It must be said about the side is Irfan Najib brings it forward, but straight into the Albirex midfield, and they get away with it there. The ball not good enough, but again they really struggle with the press there. Doi now from distance against the crossbar. And the Lucky Barnes takes it out of play, but what a strike, what an attempt there from Tomoyuki Doi. As Hashioka swings it across, what a save there from no Shafiq Zaidi. Hashioka, great cross, acres of space. Tomoyuki Doi has done so well all season. So Niza Mazlan plays it inside, Ryan Stewart. Leaves it to Kyrie Nadim, off the post. Kyrie Nadim on his left foot drove it in low. It was past the despairing arms of Keokawa, but so unlucky for the Young Lions. Free kick for Albirex. The far post looking for Sakuma. Still alive, punched away from No Shafiq. Sharon Nizam. Too heavy. Oh, what a chance there! Almost caught No Shafiq Zaini off his line. First time chance. What great awareness shown. Someone with a bit more experience might have just held it up and brought some other players into it, but if they give up in experience, they definitely make up for in tenacity. These young Lions is Albirex now neat playing. Nagasawa tries to curl it in off the bar by Folder Hanada. The ball has crashed off a crossbar here. Curled it on with his left foot there. Brings it forward to Kuma, lays it in. Kamata, Ashioka now. Ashioka still going! 2-0 Albirex! What a goal from Kazuki Hashioka. A great run from the captain of the White Swans. Strong finish with the right foot. Kazuki Hashioka gives it straight back to Albirex. Nagasawa. Doi. Nishiguchi in the center. Tomiyuki Doi to Nishiguchi! Over the bar from the big Albirex striker. Doing really well to create that chance. Such a tricky player, Doi. The ball just behind Nishiguchi. Had to stretch for it. As they look to secure yet another Singapore Premier League title. Sets us up beautifully for the rest of the season. It ends here at Jurong East Stadium. Albirex Niigata 2, Young Lions 0.
Albirex Niigata looking good in that victory. 5 wins from 5 matches, 7 wins from the 8 matches since the restart of the AIA Singapore Premier League. And Akbar, do they look championship material?
Yes, they definitely do. I mean, you can't take away the fact that when this season restarted, they have done very well to pick up the points. Seven wins in 8 games, and it's not easy for a team to actually have that run of victories. Definitely title material. Definitely, if they do win it this season, they thoroughly deserve it.
Now, the big debate for this particular match that we're looking at, Philippe, and for you, Akbar, as well. Previous guests that have come on this show have said, you know, they don't really compare to the vintage of 2016, 2017, and 2018, where they swept everything ahead in Singapore football, in cups and in leagues and in community shields. But they're still on the verge. How do they compare to those teams? Are people right in the assertion that they are not as good as those teams?
So let's not forget that in 2016, the local clubs all had 5 foreigners. Yeah, well, we had 5 foreigners, but Albirex had players who were older. This crop of players are much younger than the usual ones. But still, you know, as a team, when they work together, they're excellent. Yeah. If you take an individual player out, yes, they may not stand out, but when you put all of them together, they are like machines. Yeah, they perform in such a way that, you know, I know what you're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do, and week in, week out, they do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Akbar, you've also faced the vintage sides of Albirex Niigata from 2016 to 2018. How difficult were they?
Definitely, the vintage sides was very difficult to play with. They had good coaches, they had good players. Rightfully said by Philippe that they had older players, and we had 5 foreigners. So the matchup, it was like apple versus apple in terms of the dynamics of Albirex. Right now, the dynamics of Albirex also matches up with the local teams, because local teams have 3 under-23 players. Having said that, I personally believe Albirex of those 2 seasons was really tough to play with, even with the 5 foreigners that we have. But having said that, we won't take away the credit of what Albirex is doing this year. And again, I agree with Philippe that it's a culture that these Japanese players have. They gel well, they work hard, they have a certain discipline and a footballing culture that they bring about. So no matter who they bring in, they'll always be competitive, and they'll always be right up there, trying to fight for titles or trying to win a game. So with that culture, footballing culture set in place, I guess that sets the rest apart.
You're allowed to disagree on the show, by the way. You don't have to agree with each other. I'm trying to get some rivalry going. Philippe, you said that no real standout players compared to the 2016 to 2018 teams. But which particular players have stood out for you? I've done various Albirex Niigata games through the luck of the draw in terms of commentary. Doi looks good up front as the main man. Fyros has done well coming in. Nagasawa, Taniguchi, and Hashioka, first goal of the season from right back. But he's been a whiz down the right wing with crosses coming in, and he's been a real asset for them. So who are some of the star players that have really stood out for you?
So for me, the front three are dangerous players. Nagasawa, Doi, and Nishiguchi. Yeah. So the three of them in combination, it's difficult to stop. If you have Doi alone, we can say, we're going to take him out. Stay close to him, don't let him turn. But the problem is he has the other two to fit off. You talk about Fyros Hassan. He played for me in Hougang. We know technically he is really, really good, send good crosses, able to shoot. And I'm happy for him that he is playing a big role for Albirex. And the local players are getting into the game at this late stage of the season. Ewan scored, Fyros Hassan scored as well. Iman's playing a part, Gareth's playing a part as well. So this Albirex team is no longer a full Japanese team. We have our Singapore flavor in there. But still, they are just that good.
Yeah, it's a growing experience for the Singapore boys in Albirex Niigata, almost like playing for a foreign team overseas in a way by learning that culture. Just stay with you for Young Lions. In recent games, they have been more competitive with players coming back, but you've worked really, really closely with one particular player, and that's Kyrie Nadim, 16 years of age. He was part of the under 16s when you took charge last year, and now he's playing proper professional football against men. What does he have? Why is he so special?
So he has this thing, he has this knack of producing something out of nothing, For me, he grew up as a street footballer. Yeah, the technical skills that he possessed, the ability to beat players, and the confidence. You look at him today, towards the end of the season, he is playing so much better as when he first started. He's confident now. When he was with me, I said, hey, why don't you shoot with your left foot? You're always shooting with your right. And I'm very, very happy when I watch Young Lions games, and I think that shows a lot. He has progressed by a lot by being in the Young Lions.
Yeah, but how difficult is it for a 16-year-old to play against men who will intimidate you? Big defenders. You talk about Bahaki Kaizan, Zach Anderson, these players who have experience, who see this youngster trying to make a name for himself. It's going to be difficult. There's going to be intimidation. There's plenty of chatter that goes on the football pitch. So mentally, you have to be strong. Physically, you can be good, but mentally, you have to be strong to play at that level at a very young age.
So that's why I said he play his football on the streets. And when you play in street football, you play with older people. You don't play with the people in your age group. You play with adults and this and that. And I think that's how he grew up to have this confidence to be able to play against men.
Yeah, really looking good, Kyrie Nadim. In perhaps within a shout of Young Player of the Season. Who knows? Come awards night at the end of this particular season. All right. The last game is from Bishan Stadium. It was an entertaining one as Balestier Khalsa took on Tanjong Pagar United. All the 4 goals in this match scored in the first half.
A very warm welcome to the Bishan Stadium here in Singapore for the AIA Singapore Premier League clash between Balestier Khalsa and Tanjong Pagar United. Both teams desperately in need of a win. Tanjong Pagar in their first season back with the big boys are winless all season. Balestier on the other hand have fumbled their way through this month, winless in November. And worryingly they lost to Young Lions. Here comes a chance for Hazwan Halim. He's put that just wide. Unfortunately he dragged his shot just wide. And here comes Hazwan Halim with the corner. And that is a goal! Hazwan Halim with the ball in, all the way through. Kenji couldn't keep it out. Danish Uwais opens the scoring for Balestier. Let's have another look from this angle. All the way through. Danish will be claiming that goal. Back underway after the first water break. Farid Samit plays an interesting ball over the top. This could be half a chance for Tanjong Pagar. Oh, this could be 1-1, and it's Luis Junior with goal number 5. Shodi Nishikawa put the ball into an area. Here is Arvind Slip, and Luis Junior won't have an easier finish than that. On a plate, 1-1 here at the Bishan Stadium. And again, he's given Shodi Nishikawa something to chase. And Shodi Nishikawa is in the box here as he looks for a teammate. Surya Prakash. Back at Bishan Stadium, though, Christian Krychek has put Hazwan Halim through. Hazwan Halim puts the ball into the box, and that is a goal for Balestier Khalsa. Shuhai Hoshino celebrates his contract extension with a goal. The ball into the box, and Shuhai Hoshino did the rest. Takahiro, who's got 3 assists to his name this season, looks for number 4, and that's found its way into the net. Shodai Nishikawa didn't need a second invitation. And this is Christian Krychek, who's found himself all the way through. Zaiful Nizam with the long ball forward. And the referee has the whistle in his mouth, and that is full time here at the Bishan Stadium. It finishes 2-2 between Balestier Khalsa and Tanjung Pagar United. That elusive win evading both these teams as they settle for points apiece. I do thank you for your company here at the Bishan Stadium. It has finished 2-2 between Balestier Khalsa and Tanjung Pagar.
That Bishan Stadium pitch looks like it's taken a real beating in the past couple of matches that has been played on it, on the mud and on the dry season as well. So hopeful for better days for Lion City Sailors and Balestier Khalsa when they take to the Bishan Stadium pitch. But for Balestier Khalsa, they will feel perhaps points dropped against Tanjung Pagar United, especially with Geylang International losing against Lion City Sailors. This was the perfect opportunity to put pressure on them for the final AFC Cup spots.
Yeah, Balestier should or could have won the game because by winning the game, they put themselves in a better position to fight for the AFC Cup slot. They just have to dig deep and play the rest of the season to really get there. But this, I felt that it was a game they should have garnered the 3 points.
Tanjung Pagar United, no wins yet this season, 2 draws in a row for them. So they have been improving. What have you made of them? They made that change with Hyrie going out and Hasrin coming in. Very competitive. They don't really, if they do get beaten, they don't get beat by a big margin. Very competitive. What have you made of them so far, Philippe?
So they are a spirited bunch, you know. On the sidelines, you have a spirited guy shouting at them, which is Noah Lamshah. And yeah, despite the change of coaches, but because Hasrin has been there, Alamshah is always there, it didn't really affect them. For me, the guy that really affected their play was Luis Jr. Yeah, you could see now that he's back. The last game he scored against Tampines, what a cracking goal.
Yeah.
And he scored a goal again today. So he is a main man for them. Yeah, so for a team that, you know, was assembled last minute to have such a good foreigner, so I think that they have performed okay.
Yeah, Luis Jr. up to 5 goals for the season for Tanjung Pagar United and just started scoring at the restart of the SPL season. So he's done really, really well for Tanjung Pagar United. All right, let's have a look at the results once again. Confirmation of all 4 matches that were played on Wednesday. Balestier Khalsa, as we just saw, 2-2 against Tanjung Pagar United, unable to put the pressure on Geylang International. At Jurong East, Albirex Niigata coming away with a 2-0 victory over the Young Lions. A dominant performance from Albirex Niigata. 5 wins from 5 matches, looking good in the final 3 games of the season. For Hougang United, well, 3 defeats in a row, and no Charlie Mitchell and no Zach Anderson for the rest of the season. Tampines Rovers get their title charge back on track. Kopitovic and Taufik Suparno with the goals there. And at OTH, Geylang International with the defeat against Lion City Sailors. But the big story there, Stipe Plazibat coming on and then coming off with a hamstring injury. Goals there, 3 goals for Lion City Sailors as they keep their title hopes mathematically alive. So let's have a look at the table and how it stands. And we've color-coded it according to the top local side that will get AFC Champions League direct entry and the 2 second and third best local sides who will go into the AFC Cup group stage as well. So Albirex Niigata leading the way still. All 3 teams, top 3, all got the victory there. But Lion City Sailors look to be running out of games there, Akbar.
Well, for Lion City Sailors, as you can see, the last few games is very crucial for them. They would need favours from other teams to actually make Albirex or Tampines Rovers drop points. But then again, you have Albirex and Tampines Rovers playing against each other. So what Lion City can do is just have to focus on their games, win their remaining games, and they would have to hope for the best, that the results won't go the way that Tampines or Albirex want for themselves.
Yeah, Lion City Sailors will be hoping for favours from other sides. From 1st to 6th, all in contention for something at the end of the season. You can't count out Hougang United, who still mathematically possible for them to qualify for the AFC Cup. They will be looking at 4th spot, which does look to be the final slot for AFC Cup competitions. All right, let's have a look at the top scorers for the season so far. Plazibat, will we see him in action at any point for the rest of the season? Still on 14 goals. Doi didn't get the goal against the Young Lions, still remains on 8. Kopitovic level with teammate Jordan Webb on 7 goals. Those Tampines Rovers duo on 7. Song Yong up to 6, and Luis Jr. for a very long time was on 0. Now on 5, suddenly top scoring local goal scorer Kyrie Nadim and Adam Swandi on 4 goals. All right, so we will have a look at a graphic here that shows the title run-in, the point situation, and the remaining fixtures. Albirex Niigata on 26 points. We have added goal difference there because it's very tight between the 3 teams in terms of goal difference, and it could go to goal difference come December 5th. But for Albirex Niigata and for Tampines Rovers, the big one is on Sunday. That is almost title deciding in terms of Albirex Niigata if they get the victory there. But you look at their run-in, Philippe, what do you think of their run-in? Tampines, Tanjong Pagar, and Hougang United. How many points do you think they will get from that?
So I think they will draw with Tampines, and I think that is good enough for them to secure the title, because they're going to face Tanjong Pagar, and at the end, the last game was going to be Hougang, where the key players, the key foreigners are not playing anymore.
Yeah.
And, you know, if Hougang is not chasing for any AFC Cup matches, then very likely then there is nothing to play for. And I think Albirex, the record between Albirex and Hougang is such that Albirex has always won against Hougang, even during my time. Yeah, I think the best result we got off them was a draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've not beaten them.
Akbar, as the head coach of Tampines Rovers in the past, you haven't had a good record. You got the victory. I know, remember, you had an important victory in the league against Albirex Niigata, but lost the cup final against Albirex. I mean, how important is that match? A draw is not really good enough for Tampines, because you see Tanjong Pagar and Hougang United as very, very winnable games for Albirex Niigata there. So it has to be must-win for Tampines, isn't it?
Well, just to have a greater end towards the season, Tampines must win the game against Albirex. If they win the game against Albirex, then at least they have a chance to set themselves up not only for the title, but to be in a more secure position for the AFC Champions League, and would put them in a better state against Lion City, better confidence going into that game. Definitely against Albirex, it must be a 3-point game that they must look forward to.
Yeah, it's a tough run-in for Tampines. Not just Albirex Niigata coming up on Sunday. They have Lion City Sailors on Wednesday, and then they end the season on Saturday against Geylang International. 3 tough games.
Yes.
Philippe, how many points do you see them getting from there? Saying that you expect the draw against Albirex.
It's not going to be easy for them against Lion City Sailors, because the Lion City Sailors are still reeling from the first time they met.
Yeah.
Tampines trashed them.
Yeah.
And I think there's still that defeat is very much on Aurelius' mind. And I think Lion City Sailors will go all out to defeat Tampines. So I think, yes, Tampines will be too good for Geylang. So 3 points there, a draw against Albirex. And I think Lion City Sailors may just beat Tampines for it.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that sets it up for Lion City Sailors, because we go on them. They're on 20 points at the moment. Young Lions, winnable for them. Balestier Khalsa, winnable. Then Tampines Rovers in the middle of it on the Wednesday. Akbar, and are you agreeing with Philippe on that one? How do you see Lion City Sailors and Tampines going?
I would definitely see it as Lion City Sailors winning that game against Tampines. Yes.
With or without Plazibat?
With or without Plazibat, with or without selfish reasons. I believe Lion City Sailors have the mettle, and they definitely have revenge on their mind, because that would never go away for a coach with what happened in the very first round. And they really want to qualify for the Champions League, as what we have read in the papers from day one, apart from winning the championship. So for them, if the championship is not there for them to grapple or grabs, the Champions League is definitely what they will gun for. And I would reckon they will gather all the 9 points.
Okay, so I mean, Philippe, we'll have you on for the next episode. So we'll do this with you, Akbar. Obviously, no one knows the future, what's going to happen. But for Albirex Niigata, home against Tampines, what's the result? How many points in total are they going to get from those 3 matches, Albirex?
Albirex, I reckon against Tampines, they would draw.
Okay, 1 point.
They would draw 1 point.
And they will win the next 2.
And they will win the next 2.
So that's 7 points. That's up to 33
Yes.
points for them. Okay,
Yes.
for Tampines, away to Albirex, there's a draw there.
1,
Against Lion City Sailors.
lose, 0.
And then Geylang 4.
Yes.
So they will go up to 28 points.
Yes.
So now this is where the math comes in. For Lion City Sailors, victory in all 3.
3, 9.
9 points, 29. They will pip Tampines Rovers for the AFC Champions League spot.
That's what my psychic senses tell me.
I mean,
I would reckon so.
it's still early on. I mean, there's plenty of football to be played. Philippe, we'll get you to have your predictions next week. But would you go along with that more or less?
It really depends on, you see, one result will affect the other 2 results,
Yes.
you know. If Tampines beat Albirex,
All changes.
Then it all changes.
Yeah.
So and that is why I said it is so interesting this year, this title race. It's so good to watch. And yeah, I hope the fans, you know, do stay tuned, because you never know until the end who's going to qualify or who's going to be champions.
Yeah, no Jordan Webb. He won't be in action for that match against Albirex Niigata, serving the second of his 2-match suspension. So a big loss for Gavin Lee in what is a massive game for Tampines Rovers, for the Stags. All right, let's have a look at the upcoming fixtures for Saturday and Sunday. And on Saturday, Balestier Khalsa will take on Geylang International. And if Geylang International, as I mentioned, get the victory against Balestier Khalsa, more or less they secure AFC Cup football for next season. Hougang United up against Tanjong Pagar. Hougang need to win, and they play all the remaining fixtures for the season at Hougang Stadium, so they do have the home advantage. But if they are to have any hope at all of AFC Cup football, then they do need to beat Tanjong Pagar United. On Sunday, Super Sunday, once again, Young Lions at Jurong West up against Lion City Sailors. Yeah, Sailors have to win to keep themselves in with a shout mathematically. And the big one, well, that stands out. No disrespect to the other 3 fixtures, but that is the one that everyone is going to be talking about. Albirex Niigata up against Tampines Rovers, 5:30 p.m. local time kickoff at Jurong East Stadium. And Albirex Niigata, if they win that match against Tampines Rovers, will have a 5-point gap over the Stags. And you do feel, with the remaining fixtures, a point in either of those fixtures, in both very winnable games, we'll see Albirex Niigata crowned the champion of the AIA Singapore Premier League for the 4th time. Thank you so much, Akbar. Thank you so much for giving us your expertise. Philippe, we will see you for the next SPL show. Wow, it's getting very interesting at the top of the table. Plenty at stake. Who will win a title? Who will qualify for the AFC Champions League? And who will take the 2 AFC Cup spots? All to play for. We will see what happens in the next round of fixtures, and we will wrap it all up once again on the SPL show. We are into round 13.
Neat little touch back to Ong Yuan. First goal, Ong Yuan in Dreamland.
And it's Luis Jr. with goal number 5.
Taufik Supara with a strike, and they make it 2-0. Inspired substitution by Gavin Lee.
They're playing through the middle. What on earth is Yamazaki doing up there? Oh my word! Kyushu Yamazaki! And that's a world-class finish from the Sailor centre-back.